Good evening and welcome to the Coon Rapids City Council meeting for Tuesday, October 3rd, 2023. If you could please rise and join us for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please call the roll.
Councilmember Griskowiak.
Here.
Councilmember Rayrauer.
Here.
Councilmember Novak. Councilmember Geisler.
Here.
Councilmember Armstrong. Councilmember Carlson.
Here.
Mayor Cook.
Here. Thank you. Why don't we adopt the agenda for this evening?
Motion to adopt the agenda, Mr. Mayor.
Second.
Motion by Carlson and a second by Rayrauer. Is there any discussion or corrections? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. The agenda is opposed? The agenda is adopted. Didn't seem like there was anybody pushing back on that. All right. Approval of the minutes of the previous meeting.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilmember Griskowiak.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the September 19th meeting.
Second.
Motion by Griskowiak and a second by Rayrauer. Is there any discussion or corrections? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? And those minutes are approved. We have 3, 4, 5 items on the consent agenda this evening. The first one is to adopt Resolution 23-96, levying the 2023 delinquent utilities. Pursuant to City Code 13-304, delinquent utility bills should be certified to Winoka County for collection with property taxes. Users have been notified by mail that payments should be made to avoid certificates, and the amount to be certified to the county is as follows. Utility amount is $1,027,437, and then there's an administration fee of $40 per parcel times 2,544 parcels for $101,760 for a total to be levied of $1,129,197. And provisions have been made to accept the utility amount without interest through 4:30 p.m. November 9th, 2023. And we are about $200,000 higher than we were last year at this time. Last year at this time, the total delinquent amount was $899,431. I guess just over $100,000. Lower last year. Yep. All right, so we're looking to adopt resolution number 23-96, certifying delinquent utilities to taxes. Next item on our consent agenda is to adopt resolution 23-98, approving a sustainability commission appointment. And I'm gonna try this. Elzaki Ishag. Okay, I'm not getting any nods or head shakes, so I'm going to go with that neutral response. Submitted an application for the Sustainability Commission. After discussion with the applicant, the Sustainability Commission voted to recommend Elzaki Ishag's appointment to fill a vacancy with a term ending December 31st, 2025. So we're looking to adopt Resolution 2398, and I might as well make it a trifecta. If I'm going to mispronounce it, do it 3 times in a row. Appointing Elzaki Ishag to the Sustainability Commission. And we appreciate him stepping up and signing up for that. Item 4, our next item on our consent agenda is to adopt Resolution 23-99, accepting a donation for a park bench. The city has administered a park bench donation program for many years, and the family of John Geldert would like to donate $700 for a park bench to honor his memory. The city council is required to accept financial donations by resolution. So we're looking to adopt resolution 23-99 to accept a $700 donation from the family of John Geltert. And then additionally, we'd like to thank them very much for stepping up and honoring him that way. Next item on our consent agenda is to adopt resolution 23-100, accepting the Victim Services Grant, and adopt resolution 23-101, authorizing cooperative agreement with the Minnesota Department of Public Safety. The Minnesota Department of Public Safety Office of Justice Programs, OJP, sought proposals from county and city attorney offices to fund a victim witness advocate position. This position provides services to crime victims, ensuring crime victim rights are upheld, and increasing victim safety and access to services that meet their needs. The city attorney's office was first awarded the grant in October of 2017 and has maintained it since then. These funds were anticipated in the 2023 city budget and the 2024 proposed city budget, and this funding enhances, not replaces, existing services for crime victims by having the victim service staff be in court with an attorney to improve victim contact. Further, the funding helps the city attorney's office meet statutory requirements by enhancing information referrals for victims and providing victims greater assistance and advocacy. The victim service staff is under the supervision of the city attorney. Under the proposal, state and federal funding is available to directly service the needs of crime victims, and this grant will provide $70,000 for a one-year period beginning October 2023. So we're looking to adopt Resolution 23-100 to accept the Victim Service Grant from the Minnesota Department of Public Safety, Office of Justice Programs, and to authorize execution of the agreement, and Resolution 23-101, authorizing execution of the grant agreement by the city attorney. And the next and final item on our consent agenda is item 6 on this evening's agenda, and that's to approve the final payment to North Valley Incorporated for Project 23-2 Robinson Drive and Creek Meadow Drive and 114th Avenue Mill and Overlay. There was a change order for additional removal and paving work required to repair the road surface damage to a large water main break that occurred after the overlay process. So we're looking to approve the change orders and the final payment to North Valley Incorporated in the amount of $46,063.52 for Project 23-2 Robinson Drive and Creek Meadow Drive, 114th Avenue, Mill and Overlay.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilmember Geisler.
move the consent agenda.
Second?
Motion by Geisler and a second by Carlson. Is there discussion or questions?
Mr. Mayor,
Councilmember Griscoviac?
maybe we would like to have a discussion on the consent agenda item number 5, and I know Mr. Hanson and Mr. Himmer aren't here, and I know that North Valley Incorporated has done a great job for us in the past on these mill and overlays. But we added $62,000 in costs because of that water main break. So they tore up the road and did that patch over there. I'm just wondering, has North Valley actually, I mean, it's pretty rough right there still. I think that patch is kind of rough. Has anyone brought it to their attention? The rest of the road is just perfectly smooth, and then you get to that rough spot.
Mayor and council, I'm not sure if that's been specifically brought to their attention or not. You know, the patch itself isn't going to be as seamless as the original road surface, but given the conditions of the road, you would think that it should be a pretty nice patch and last a long time. So I will have a discussion with the engineering staff just to make sure it's meeting our specifications, and we'll see how it looks here over the winter too, and that's not deteriorating too quickly.
All right, I'd appreciate that.
I don't think we have to withhold payment. There'll still be looking for future business from us.
And just bring it to their attention, right?
Yep.
I do recall when they did that mill and overlay and that water main broke immediately after that. I thought of that today while I was sitting on the corner of Mississippi Boulevard and Coon Rapids Boulevard while the packer was packing down, smoothing and the ground is just shaking. And I thought, oh, that is going to get down to that water main all bad.
Right. There's always that risk.
Yeah. All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, whatever you do, vote aye, vote, yeah.
Yeah, the I thing, yeah.
Yeah, do the aye thing, yeah.
So, aye.
Aye.
Thank you, aye. Opposed? Wow, sometimes my brain just turns off at the weirdest times.
We got it.
All right, item 7. Consider introduction of an ordinance restricting parking on the south side of 131st Avenue between Crooked Lake Boulevard and Arrowhead Street. There's somebody from public works. So,
Mayor and council, I
Mr.
could
Stemler.
handle it if you'd like. So This is an introduction of an ordinance restricting parking on the south side of 131st from Crooked Lake to Arrowhead Street. Primarily, the purpose of this proposed restriction is related to parking in the area, primarily due to Crooked Lake Beach. But as our parking lot fills up, the parking tends to spill out into the neighborhoods, and it was causing some issues, particularly on 131st, where it was becoming too narrow. People who were living in that area were having a hard time with their ingress and egress to their properties. And so this was reviewed by the Traffic Review Committee. The recommendation was made to restrict the parking seasonally during that sort of beach season. There was one note that the original letter sent out to the residents in the area had the correct map, but had a little bit of an error related to the street names. A new letter was sent out, and we are soliciting feedback from those residents through next week, such that if they had feedback, we'll be able to present that to City Council prior to the formal adoption in a couple of weeks.
Very good. Does anybody have any questions on this? Okay, if there are no questions, then we will consider the ordinance restricting parking on the south side of 131st Avenue between Crooked Lake Boulevard and Arrowhead Street introduced. If anybody has any comments, please reach out to staff or your council and let us know. Item 8. Consider resolution 23-97, an order concerning hazardous building located at 834 104th Avenue Northwest. I don't think I've ever seen a more clear direction to go. Mr. Brody?
That's correct. Mayor and council, I think we're all fairly familiar with this particular property at 834 104th Avenue. It did suffer a gas explosion earlier this summer. There's not much left of it. What I guess makes the situation a little bit unusual is that the owner passed away several years ago. It never went through probate. There's never been an estate, so there's really no owners of the property. There also isn't any insurance on the property, and the mortgage company, while there was a mortgage, isn't interested in foreclosing on that, so it really is left down to the city to take care of it. So we are going to follow the statutory process to do that. It does take some time, especially given that we'll have to publish notice, but it's our intent, obviously, to follow through that. We'll be able to get a court order then, hopefully, and have this removed, and it'll be all of it. It'll be cleared, leveled, the hole will be filled in, and there'll be, at that point, a vacant lot, and those costs will be assessed back at some point. I'm not sure how ownership will be figured out, but I don't think the real estate taxes are being paid on it either, so that may be where it ends up ultimately. So we're just asking that you would, to start that process today, you'd order that resolution ordering the house to be raised and removed, and then we'll do our best to serve those that need to be served.
Sounds real good. All right,
Mr. Mayor,
Councilmember Geisler?
I'll make a motion to adopt Resolution 23-97, ordering a hazardous building at 834 104th Avenue, Coon Rapids, Minnesota, 55433, to be raised and removed.
Second?
Motion by Geisler and a second by Carlson. Any discussion, further discussion, I should say?
Mr. Mayor,
Councilmember Griscoviac?
I did have a question on this. I think Mr. Brody answered it, but my question was with the ownership kind of weird thing it is, and I was going to ask, have property taxes been paid over the last few years? Is it the indication, or is it hasn't been paid since the owner passed away?
That's my understanding is that I think we did look into that. They have not been paid their outstanding taxes.
All right, so the city of Coon Rapids, the residents have to pay for this. Do we use our scattered site money to pay for this? And then I'm just wondering, if taxes haven't been paid for such a long time, does the county then, will it go into tax forfeit at some
Correct,
point?
and
And then will the county reimburse us for?
That'll be part of potentially a sale of that property, because I assume it will have some value as a vacant lot.
Okay.
And so hopefully that those kind of, the taxes will come out of that, any assessments will come out of that. So we'll assess the cost to that property, become part of the property taxes that likely won't get paid. But then we'll go into a tax foreclosure at some point.
Okay.
Takes about at least 5 years
Yeah.
before it goes into tax forfeiture, though, I think.
So then just, not that I definitely think it's got to be raised, and I know that we have to take care of it, but what funding source is used to do something like this?
Mayor, council, I would, suggest it likely out of our HRA fund, there's a fund balance available there. The expense for something like this isn't that exorbitant. We're talking, tens of thousands of dollars perhaps, but 20, 25, somewhere in there typically, and maybe with this one, since it's mostly leveled, it's perhaps not even that much, so. yeah.
Mostly just loading it into a dumpster at this point.
Oh, I suppose.
Yeah,
Right.
and since it's housing related and that eventually we'll be reimbursed for it, that's probably the cleanest way to do it, but we can firm up the revenue or the expense piece of it as we move forward, and I can communicate that back to council if you'd like.
All right. Well, I appreciate that. In the 6 years that I've been here, I haven't seen this situation come up, so those things were just rolling around up in my head.
This is the second, I think, hazardous building that I've done since I became the city attorney, so it's infrequent. And often the homeowner eventually takes care of it.
All right, any further discussion on this? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that motion passes. Item 9 is to consider introduction of an ordinance to amend licensing of rental dwellings, short-term rentals. Mr. Brody?
Mayor, council, as we've discussed over the last year and a half, our zoning ordinance is silent on that. We've interpreted that doesn't allow, but I think we've gotten direction, at least it's our understanding from council, that going forward, we would prefer to explicitly prohibit short-term rentals, as you would see vacation rentals or Airbnbs, those types of rentals. So we did draft an ordinance to that effect. I apologize, but the way it was put into the rental license, so with renumbering it all, we had to put the whole ordinance in, and it's on page 4 is the actual language, although there's a little bit in the preamble as well. And it's fairly simple because we're prohibiting anything less than 30 days, are not allowed. Obviously, we exclude out hotels, things like that, your more typical short-term rentals. We wanted to make sure we didn't create any issues there. We don't believe this language creates any issues for month-to-month rentals, or like that would potentially be at Family Promise or any rental unit for that matter. So we're confident in that, and that's not the intent of it either. So we're just asking tonight, it's just an introduction that you introduce it, and obviously if people have questions, we're open for that. Or if the public does, they certainly can reach out to their council member or staff.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think we were very reasonable in how we approached this. We kind of let it go for a while just to see, and the neighbors didn't like it. The neighbors went, this is changing the direction of our neighborhood and the tone, and so, all right. Anybody have any questions on this? All right, if there's no questions, then we'll consider an ordinance to amend licensing of rental dwellings, short-term rentals introduced. If anybody has any questions or comments, make sure you reach out to staff or your, is that enough? Oh, no, I better read that bottom. It doesn't include the chapter. We will consider the ordinance amending chapter 12-900, licensing of rental dwellings to prohibit short-term rentals introduced.
Thank you.
Feel better now?
I do, thank you.
Yeah. You had that look like I left you hanging there. All right. And we're up to open mic. Are you here for open mic? All right. Open mic provides an opportunity for the public to address the city council on subjects that are not part of the regular meeting agenda, and the public is invited to express any concerns they may have which are relevant to the affairs, policies, or practices of the city of Coon Rapids. Remarks will be limited to 3 minutes. Should you wish to participate in open mic, please approach the podium and state your name and address before addressing the council, and all remarks will be made from the podium and addressed to the council as a whole. Open mic is not a time for problem solving or reacting to the comments made, but for hearing the speaker for informational purposes only. Questions from council will be for clarification only, and if necessary, a staff report will be prepared for the next regular council meeting with a copy forwarded to the speaker. None of that cut into your 3 minutes, just so you know that. Please state your name and address, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. My name is Derek Lind, and I'm actually from Ramsey, Minnesota, part of Anoka County. We're an advocate group pushing for election reform in Anoka County. We got some handouts here, Jeannie, we'd like to give to you. So the name of our group is ACIT, and we've been focusing primarily at the county level. We've been giving speeches. We've been at this about 18 months. We've had 28 people give 75 speeches directly to the Anoka County Commissioners. And the reforms we're pushing for is basically we want to go back to the election system that we had about 30 years ago, where it was open and transparent and hand counted and that kind of stuff. Believe it or not, we were hand counting votes about 30 years ago. If you could look at these cards real quick, I want to walk you through them. There's a blue card. Basically, the three problems with our elections is there's always going to be people that are going to try to cheat. We just have to live with that reality. The second is electronics can be hacked. And the third problem is our current system today is a black box. It's not transparent. We can't see what's going on. If you could grab the second card with the flag on it, this tells you who we are and what we're trying to do at the county level. There's basically 6 things we're asking the county to do. It's on the back there. Secure election judge data, verified registered voters, validated paper ballots, paper poll books. Right now, we're using electronic poll pads to check people in. We want to go back to paper. And I think these electronic poll books came in, yeah, it says right on there, they came in 2018. The state just mandated that you have to use the machines, but we can still do parallel hand counts alongside to check the counts, make sure they're accurate. And then small voting precincts, I think we already have that. Third card real quick, Mark Cook is an election cybersecurity expert. He actually met with 2 of our Anoka County commissioners, and he told them point blank, you can't trust this system that we have right now. It could be hacked. You don't know where the totals are coming from. So that's basically it in a nutshell. We're working the BPOUs. We're trying to apply political pressure to the council members, and the BPOUs, 2 of them, SD35 and SD31, have both told us that election reform is their #1 issue right now, and they are not happy with our progress. So with that being said, do you guys have any questions for us? I'm just basically making the rounds and introducing ourselves to the city. We did send out some cards. Did you guys get those by mail? Okay, you got it?
I did.
You did, okay. So I was in Blaine last night, Fridley last week. You know, we're just introducing ourselves to the city. So do you have any questions for us? Okay. Thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Anybody else to address council for open mic? We will close that portion of the meeting. And we have one, let's see here, there we go. One open mic report from a couple weeks ago related to Woodcrest and Wintercrest Parks. I'm not going to go through all of this, but it was concerning the hole 21 on the disc golf course and looking for restricting some parking and limiting some use of the parks. And the area is proposed for street reconstruction in 2024. And if council desires, staff can review the feasibility of installing sidewalks along some of the roadways to allow an off-street location for pedestrians and/or restricting parking. And we can, I guess we kind of look at sidewalks each time we do the road reconstruction. And I thought about the importance of that again, because Coon Rapids was laid out primarily without sidewalks. So with the plan that everybody would be walking and pedestrian on the streets. I was going down Quinn Street the other night, and there was cars parked on the right side and cars parked on the left side. This guy is pushing the stroller down. He had to wait behind a parked car for me to go by slowly so that he could get out, keep walking. And I thought, sidewalks or not parking in the street? Seems like you should have one or the other, you know, but that's where we're at. We're up to other business.
Mr. Mayor?
Councilmember Geisler.
I think coming up, so tomorrow, Wednesday, is Farmers Market. There's this week, and then next week, the 11th, and that's the end of the Farmers Market. So if you want to attend this week and next week, are your choices. On next week's Saturday, there's the Friends of the Library book sale, so go to your library. And do you want to talk about the Rotary Oktoberfest? I'll let you do that one. And then thank you to our photo contest folks. The winners were announced, and great photos from taken around the city, so we do appreciate everybody's participation.
Excellent. Yes, this week on Thursday night is what we like to call the social event of the year. It's the Coon Rapids Rotary Club sponsored sampler. Oh, don't give me that look of incredulity. It really is. It's the social event, at least of the fall. Up at Kendall's. Several breweries come in, lots of great Kendall's food, $40 online or at the door from 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock Thursday night. Lots of opportunities for raffles and fun things. Anything else on that, Mr. Stemlettle?
You covered it, Mayor.
Okay. All right. Other business to come before council.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Motion by Carlson and a second by Geisler to adjourn. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. We're adjourned.